For the sake of me finally understanding what you're doing, could you elaborate a little bit on what you have to keep in mind while playing with potatoes? Well, there's a that is like asking what do you need to keep in mind while playing Long War. But let's narrow it down to what I'm doing right now, for example. Or what's the overall goal of the game, first of all? First of all, there is no goal. Live. Rebuild that group of mercenaries. Get enough gold to feed them, enough... what was it? Enough supplies to repair their armor, enough food that you buy, of course. Keep their ammunition quivers filled, and keep them healthy, right? So in order to do that, we earn money there via various contracts. I think you've watched for a while. But what I'm doing right now in that context is I deliver cargo to Bertel the Younger in Weissenschaft to the east. And on the way there, I decided it would be time, because we are strong enough, to take out those zombies that I scouted earlier while traveling over there. And these I scouted earlier as well. That the old Siegfried's hut had a number of brigands that by now we should have no problem dealing with at all. So we're picking those up for extra loot, extra experience, extra level ups, and so on as well. And eventually we're going to end up there. That is what I'm doing right now. More specific questions get more specific answers. Legacy of Legends is the goal. Yeah, kinda. And we're waiting here because while fighting at night, our crossbowman would not be as accurate. And now as it's dawn, we can even see that there is some brigand thugs in there and a few brigand raiders as well. Some and a few means what? 4 and 3? Or something like that? But we are 8 people ourselves, and I'm very confident that we can pull that off without losing anybody. And therefore we do that right now. Not because this has any relevance for the quest we're doing. Just because the quicker you can clear those out, the quicker they stop spawning armies that then attack caravans and get ambush trade routes and stuff that sometimes you can use to your advantage, sometimes not. And also the quicker you get the experience and the loot from these guys, right? These two here have armor that I would still be interested in, just because I've memorized that this here is better than this here, and this here is better than the gambizons here in the back. This is, I think, padded leather armor or something what he has here, but you don't see it here. You have to know what it looks like for that. And this is the lamellard leather armor or something, which is slightly better. This is 80 and this is 95 armor. The helmets as well. This one is 105, this is 110. Both still usable for the back row. In the front row we have that kind of stuff already. And these guys, we don't need much here. We just take them for the experience and sometimes as a tool to kill the other two with the effect that morale has, or that the killing those guys has on the morale of these two, which are more dangerous. And I can also tell, do we have a hatchet here? No. But this is a hand axe. I see that simply because it looks very, very slightly different. But once you realize, okay, that's a tier 2, it's more dangerous, you have a little more respect of the guy who wields it in comparison to just having a hatchet there. Very similar to Long War from a tactical point of view. So what do you have to consider when attacking, for instance, flanks, grenades, mutants? Well, first of all, what are you bringing to the fight? How do you build your guys, right? Like, what I have here is 2 people in the back with polearms, which are awesome for a variety of reasons that I will not cover in detail right now, but they're very flexible in target choosing and they deal good damage and they don't need as much armor. Now I kinda summarized that. And the crossbowman here is just so we have a ranged guy because he is cool and he has a crossbow from the very beginning and he has good stats for ranged skill as well. Blunt raider, thank you very much. Welcome. I hope you're not a brigand raider. And so team composition is one thing, and you're building that slowly over time, which alone on that part I could probably talk about that for like 30 minutes. But there's a few things that I have accepted I want, which is 2 rallymen, maybe 1 to 2 archers or crossbowmen, 2, if not more, 2-handed weapon wielders in the back, and shields and one-handed weapons in front. Other people might do it differently. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to grow. You have a maximum of 12 people that can be in the fight at the same time. So 6 in the front, 2 two-handers, 2 rallymen and 2 ranged guys theoretically in the back is the formation I'm going for. And if I look at this map here, in that context, there is nothing like grenades. But every weapon that I look at here, this boar spear, this wooden flail, this morning star, has very specific capabilities at how effective is it against armor. How effective is it at hitting the head, which deals more damage, but has to get through the helmet instead of through the body armor. I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of other things that are relevant in comparison with grenades or something like that. There is throwing weapons, for example, that some people like a lot. I don't like them at all. And theoretically, you could give everybody a shield, or you could try to go for all crossbowmen and so on. But you don't only have to be ready for a fight like this. You have to build a team that is ready not only for a brigand fight, but also for a fight against Wiedergängers and Geists, against a fight against direwolves or Nachtherrs, or heavily armored troops as well. And you're trying to grow into something that can deal with all of these things at the same time. Like yesterday I fought my first Necromancer, right? And I lost way too much, but now I know that I really need some decapitating weapons before I want to fight that guy, because he just keeps resurrecting the same zombies over and over, and you cannot really run well from him as well. And then there's the Necro 7s that I saw the last time a while ago, but they are super dangerous as well. Then there's Orcs, and against Orcs you have to apply very different tactics yet again, because Orcs, for example, against those, I'm not sure if this is true, this last part, but against Orcs, for example, the spear wall doesn't work too well, because they have that charge ability that just goes through the spear wall and stuns you instead of actually triggering it, I think. And spear walls are very effective against zombies, as we saw last fight. Very effective against direwolves and Nachtherrs, as long as Nachtherrs do not come together with zombies, because then they sit back and wait to snatch a corpse, which again has its different... Well, I'm talking quickly, and I'm trying to get a lot of what I know in here, but I'm not sure if I lost you halfway through at this point. So... it's still a very general question that you're asking. Flanking is definitely a thing? Yeah, I can keep talking, no problem. Like the surround bonus that I constantly talk about. Every time, not only do we have height advantage, if I fight from here down here, I have a plus 10% chance to hit this guy, and he has a minus 10% chance to hit me, in comparison. If I have another guy standing next to him, that gives me a surround bonus, if it's my own friend, of course, because then I get another plus 5, because I have another guy there, right? So, if I am able to surround a guy like this one, let's say he's alone, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people and attack him from the 6th side, I get a plus 25% bonus to hit chance, which doesn't apply to, or rather, doesn't mean that I am more likely to hit the head or anything. That is still its very own equation. But I am very capable of hitting something and dealing damage. And if you hit him again and again, eventually the body armor is going to break, or the head armor is going to break, or enough damage is going to puncture through. Because, for example, crossbows have it, what is it? 50% of the damage ignores armor for crossbows. For something like club, the Morningstar is a mace type weapon. 40% of damage ignores armor. Okay, that's because it's a higher tier, but I think the wooden club does not have any damage ignoring armor, so you have to pummel through the entire thing. And this one has a 100% efficiency. The spear here has only 70... no, actually, it's, again, because it's tier 2, has already 95% efficiency. And if I had, like, a Warhammer here, it would have a 150% efficiency against armor, which just means as long as he still has armor that you need to damage, it deals 50% extra damage. And now with all that information that I have been throwing at you for the last 5 minutes, I think, you probably have more questions than before. Or maybe I managed to clear it up a little, but I'm very willing to explain because I think it's awesome. And it's hard to tell just from looking at potatoes why it's awesome. But surround bonus is important when we talk about flanks. Height advantage is important. In these brushes here, you're invisible. That's not that big of a deal, I think. Every weapon also has its very special ability. But I think I should start a fight. Let's have another lesson 30 minutes from now or something. Warhammer is 225% versus armor. Yeah, that is true. And let me know what you think, Ganzi, after I just rushed you there. Just explain from playing. I guess it's not so boring for the other people here. Well, yeah. However, somebody followed while I explained. So that person that I actually did not welcome, who was it? I'm sorry. Might have liked that too. Anyway, we're shooting people without shields, if we can. Like this guy. These two are Brigand Raiders. Higher tier units than the thugs back there, which is reflected not only in their skills and stats, but also in their equipment. And they are way more dangerous. So I would like to wound, if not kill, these two first. And right now, he's not going to move closer this turn. We're just going to reload and see where all the others move. And then probably take a step towards these guys. Another thing that is important is AP management, right? We have 9 AP, each one of us. And taking one step takes 2. Attacking with this weapon takes 6. With most one-handed weapons it takes 4. So if you don't move, you can attack twice. If you take one step, you can only attack once. If you take 2 steps, you can also attack once. But if you're in swamp, one step takes 4. If you want to climb uphill, one step takes 2 plus 1 here. And 4 plus 4 fatigue. Fatigue is again another... yeah. Okay, anyway. Very happy you asked, though. Instead of just saying, nah, this game is weird, right? Anyway. We could take a step forward and with the remaining 6 AP still attack one of these two. But I don't want him to be attacked, because as a polearm user, he has the weakest armor. Or the back row has the weakest armor, and he doesn't even have a male quaff, whatever that headgear is called, yet. So I don't want to leave him open, and the others are all a little far away. So what I would like to do is, yes, take that step forward, but I also already want to consider where I want to put the other frontliners to protect him. Each character, that's the next thing, we have control zones, has 5 control zones, or is it 6? It's 6. 6 control zones around themselves, meaning that if you're in melee range with one guy, you cannot move away without him attacking you, and he cannot move away without you attacking him, unless you're a crossbowman. And in that regard, it's very useful to just pin people in place. If I move him here, I don't want to attack just yet because we can have more in terms of surround bonus. Then I forgot how I wanted to end that sentence. Anyway, also you can always do your turn in that order, or you can wait once. Whenever I just randomly press spacebar, like right now, I'm just waiting. I can only do that once, and then the second time around he has to move, attack, or end his turn. Now, if we could move you here, we could attack. We could also move you through this guy over there, I think, unless he takes this path. I don't think I can path this through because this is blocked, but he actually gets there and can still attack once, and you can move through him then to here and also attack once, and we have 2 people here in the front. Only pinning these 2 right now, but the others would, if they want to avoid our control zones, have to take the long way around. The pass sees a guy without a helmet, and he has a flail which has the secondary ability Lash, which always hits the head if it hits, and deals, therefore, all the damage that you could possibly wish for, and that almost killed him straight up. That was as good as it gets. Takes more fatigue building up, however. And that fatigue also influences the order down there. The more tired you are, the later in the turn you act. Together with the initiative stat that you have down here. There's a lot to explain there. Blunt Raider! Yeah, I think I even said hi. Didn't I? Hi. Best AP balance I've ever seen in a game. I haven't seen many others, so I cannot comment on that. I think the ignores armor thing is a bit of misinformation. All HP damage is reduced by 10% of the armor's current value. That is to say, a 50 HP hit on 200 armor value would be reduced to 20 points. Because 10%, it would be reduced by 20 points to 30. Even the armor piercing damage is reduced this way. It's actually kind of nice that I get to learn a little bit through that, through me explaining. But that surprises me. Is reduced this way. So armor piercing damage is reduced, and not armor piercing damage still goes through? Doesn't that kind of defeat the whole point of having armor piercing damage in the first place? Not weird, complex and challenging. Yeah. But there's also games where you're like, yes, I mean, what was it? I think AI Fleet Command, I remember, was very complex, at least looked very complex to me. And I bought it, and I tried playing it, and after an hour I was like, I'm not gonna play that game again. I think this game is stupid, and I don't want to play it anymore. A genius question. Indeed. What are we doing? Well, eventually, once it's your turn, you're going to move down here. By the way, this little icon here means that we only have that now that we have our standard. That means that we get extra resolve, I believe. Was it? Was it that? Do I see it anywhere on any... Yeah, here. With the company's glorious battle standard nearby, this character feels compelled to push onward and spit danger in the face. And that is only in a range of... 2 tiles? No, that's the attack range. Allies at a range of 4 tiles or less receive 10% of the resolve of the character holding the standard as a bonus, up to maximum of the standard bearer's resolve. So, he has 42, and that means others get +4, up to a maximum of 42. Right. Would want to have him somewhere in the middle and not off there to the side, but that doesn't always happen that way. And I'm not playing even half of my battles halfway ideal, but there's too much to think about, I think. What are we doing with you? Vermeer can theoretically move to here. This one's almost dead already. That will happen very quickly. And that will, of course, also get the others to waver. Morale being the next important thing here, because this one has a little white flag there, right? It's only at wavering right now. There's 2, and there's also a flag right here that we have, the blue one. Basically, the best you can be, I think, at least the best I've seen. Yeah? What's above confident? I don't know. But confident means +10 on a few things. What was it? +10 on chance to hit with ranged, and on defense for melee and ranged as well. Then there's the normal status that everybody who doesn't have a flag has, and then as they see others flee, or get wounded, or die, or get wounded themselves, when they see negative stuff, the morale might waver. Then they go to wavering, where they have -10%. Then from there it goes to breaking, where they have -20% on all those. And then when they start fleeing, they just try to run away. And if I can get somebody to waver, it's easier to hit. He's easier to hit, and it's harder for him to hit me. So if I can kill a few weak ones, and the strong ones might not have strong morale and get to wavering or breaking status, they get less dangerous that way as well. Seeing this guy here with wavering doesn't mean much, but if I kill him, many others might as well go that way. But that, again, has to do with how high the resolve is. Vermeer is just gonna help out against the big guy that's still here. Did we kill the first one? No, we still have both here. Didn't deal too much damage to them so far, the way it looks. By the way, these bars are HP, body armor, and head armor. That, I think, is one thing I should have said way earlier. He doesn't have a shield, so if I want to try a stun, I have a 79% chance to hit. That's the secondary mace skill. And if I hit, I have a 75% chance to stun. I don't hit. So that is that. And Rifer up here is too far away to hit anybody anywhere. So we'll just give surround bonus on this one, which we will just kill because he's in range of people. Is, I think, the big plan there. But you could move here. No, you want to move here anyway. I just don't want to leave a hole where suddenly... No, I could have him here as well. It's not the biggest difference. Yeah, actually. Let's move here. But then we're in range of this guy and he could attack us twice. This way he can only attack us once. And I'm more worried about that Morning Star than about the spear. So in that regard, we're gonna do something with you as well. We wanted to get down here, no? Not necessarily. But we will have you here. So let's have you down there. And maybe kill this weak one that already, just by us moving a second guy next to him, he again failed a morale roll and therefore went to breaking. Which again, on top of everything else, makes him easier to kill. And the same can happen to you as well. The second guy moves into your one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and suddenly you are running even though your armor is completely intact and everything else is intact, just because they are all coming at you, theoretically. I'm gonna try and kill him with that one attack that I have this turn, 83%. And that got 4 people to wavering. Wasn't that sweet? That was absolutely sweet. And RDG has now the surround bonus by his 2 friends here, also looking at this guy. And therefore, not only did we get him to wavering already, we also have plus 5% skilled hit chance twice, once for each of these, taking us to 76 and breaking his nose, which makes it harder for him to breathe, and therefore he recovers less fatigue. You can just go from one complex system in this game to the next one without even taking a break in between, if you really try to explain exactly what's happening here. I noticed that right now. And it's beautiful in that regard. It just would be cooler if they had arms, maybe. Then again, I've heard people say that they like this style. And if I look at, let's say, I hate to bring that as a negative example, but Expedition Vikings, the animation there is way more sophisticated. They actually, every time they attack, there's really arms moving and weapons swinging, but it all doesn't look as crisp and polished as here, but you don't really see any kind of textures or anything. Here you can really see, with one look at those guys, I can tell you what kind of armor which one is wearing, and that is some knowledge that you will need when you play the game. If you play the game and you have no idea how strong an armor is, and then, for example, fighting orcs, I have no idea. When I look at orc armor, I'm like, I guess it's made of metal. That's all I know there, because I haven't fought them enough. Maybe it's a later point. But this here has 55 body armor and 40 head armor. This is either 5, 10 or 20. I have a hard time with those really weak ones, but they're not... It's shit armor, basically. That's 40. Padded leather armor, I think. I don't know, one of the two. They both have padded in their name, I think. Padded leather vest, maybe. Doesn't matter. 40, 80, 95, 60 or 65, I'm not sure. And with the higher tier ones, I'm also not really sure. But you get a quick understanding of who is how well protected, because all those bars are the same length, right? And that is not ideal. I would like a mouse over that actually doesn't say untouched, but says, just like it says for our own guys, 50 out of 50. But that's a design choice that these guys were happy with. And I don't know, it's just... Well, it's the way it is in that regard. Nothing above confident, but it looks like there's still, like... There's room for more. Theoretically. Armor ignore damage seems to be bonus damage on top of the normal armor damage. Okay. I guess. I have a feeling for how much damage what does. I don't care too much about it. I might have just explained it wrong. But it still seems like unnecessarily complicated in that way. Sink in and you don't even need to think about it. Exactly. I don't think about how much percent. I just know crossbows get some damage through the armor. And tier 1 spears, not really. I think they have like a little bit, maybe. And pickaxes are really good at breaking armor. So there's a few things that you kind of remember yourself, and then you're like, okay, kind of getting it now. And then the more you play it, the more you get it. Similar to, I don't know, all the different weapon types in Long War. Yeah, you can remember what the damage is, 3 to 5, 4 to 6, 5 to 8 or whatnot. But you just get what the role of each weapon is supposed to be. Pierces 25% of armor. 25 points hit the target and is then reduced by 10% of the target. This is starting to be advanced math. 100 damage hit and it pierces 25% of the armor. 25 points hit the target and is then reduced by 10% of the target's armor's original value. The remaining damage to armor, 75, is multiplied by armor damage. So effectiveness, armor effectiveness, like 90% or 150%, and then is applied to armor's value. Okay. I get it now, I think. Pretty much. I think I can even explain it the next time. 10% of the original armor's value. So if I have an armor that only has 2 points of armor value left, let's say 20, then it reduces the armor penetrating damage by 2. Okay. Cool. Love the system. It's like RPG chess. And take more armor piercing damage as the current total of the armor will be lower. What the wiki says. Fog of War mechanism? Not sure where that question comes from right now, we feel. Complete information on enemies. You can see the armor they're wearing, so you can estimate. Yeah, but at the same time, usually I'm a big fan of having all information. Especially, I don't mind not knowing the armor too much, because you can tell. What I really hate, and that's my biggest criticism on the entire game, is that you have to hire people and pay them before you see what they are talented in. You could say, but that's realistic. I say I don't care. I want to know before I hire them. I want to take him on a ride with me for half an afternoon and say, shoot that target and now try to defend or whatever, right? I want to know those stars before I buy. I don't like that. I don't know it. Don't forget to play the game. Well, I know. Really like to see you explain the game like this. Guibo, thank you. Happy to hear. But still, I should maybe play it too. That is true. Rollo, what are we doing? We are 54, 68. We still have those two brigands. I haven't done too much other than killing this guy and getting a few people wavering or breaking. So yeah, still my highest priority, 68 here. We cannot get more surround bonus going right now because you're pinned against this guy. So just have it. The 68 will not increase anymore, and it's the end of the turn anyway. We have one more attack here that we've been originally waiting to land with 85. Getting these two breaking, and he's running now. Which means he doesn't have zones of control anymore. Which means that you can freely move next to this guy if you want to. You could do that originally already, but I don't feel like doing that because then he can attack me twice. We stay here. And that was the rotate skill. Right. We haven't even talked about skills. Let's look what happens here first of all. He was confident, now he's not anymore because he was already in combat and the second one came in and he failed his resolve roll. But pick your poison. All of these, every level up you get one. And I have already here made a few choices that I stick to that many people have told me that they don't like. I have Colossus on everybody for more HP and less chance to be injured. I have Gifted on everybody, which for late game is terrible. And originally I didn't want the Student, and I'm a bigger fan of crossbows, even though most people tell me that archers are better. I'm not going to go through all of those perks, obviously, but let's just shoot someone in the face. Maybe one of the two dangerous ones and the one without the buckler, because the buckler is, I think, plus 15 range defense. Meaning 74, and here just 69. Is it only 5 range? I don't have a buckler with me, do I? I can't see my inventory right now, and I'm not wearing one, but shouldn't the buckler do more? Maybe he has 5 range defense and he has no range defense or something? It's still weird. Let's give me the 74. Alright, breaking as well. And before we know it, this one should be down. 69. Nice. Now you're running as well. You're running as well. And the others will very soon too, I believe. And 73. What I want to say, I think, to conclude my quick explanation, is this game would already be worthwhile if you would only fight brigands all the time and do nothing else. But then there's goblins, there's orcs, there's 3 different kinds of skeletons that I've seen that are just low tier. There's the Nachtiers, and so there's so many creatures that you have to deal with differently. The direwolves, and I haven't even seen late game. I haven't even seen that, and they're still working on the game. It's just awesome, and we're gonna cut you twice. And he has a shield wall up. That's his little icon here, and he holds his shield a little higher. So that means that I could do the same thing. Plus 15 melee defense for 1 turn, plus 15 range defense for 1 turn. Grants an additional plus 5 defense against all attacks for each ally adjacent, also using shield wall. Nobody else is doing that, but right now I would have a hard time getting through that. 54, it's only that high because spears are really good at hitting, plus 20% accuracy. But well, this one's running already, so we might actually go for him. But we might be able to get a little bit of surround going so we can hit easier. And we still want to kill you, but not with you. Let's just wait for now. And up here, we already have 3 people around him. We could move you in. Have you had your turn already? Yes. It says turn done. For this one, for Collie, for example, it says acts in 4 turns. So you can see the order even expanded further than here. And we are thinking about moving you in first because he doesn't have his own control anymore. That could even get him to fleeing as well. Let's wait. Move in. He's not fleeing, but now we have an 82 here. And now he's fleeing because that kind of hurt him. And I don't care, we're gonna kill him anyway. He, however, managed to get away. Because when they run, you get to attack them, but if you miss that attack, they actually get out of there. If you're around him with 3 people, and he runs away, then he has to dodge 3 attacks. Otherwise, if one of those 3 hits, he stays put in that spot and has to try again, taking more and more damage that way. Why did Collie... I'm not sure what happened there. I guess we moved twice or something. You could get closer for attacks of opportunity against this guy, and you're still fighting, and you're still fighting. But they both don't have the most terrifying weapons. The pickaxe being a little more dangerous, and I actually wanted somebody to move in here for the surround bonus, but as we decided to forget about that, let's just attack with the 54, and therefore one of the 2 attacks did not get through. What are we going to do with you? Surround bonus here, and now he's fleeing too, so 71. And I managed to bruise his leg, which I think might be relevant for a few reasons, but can I go after you now? Maybe I can. Maybe I can still get you before you get away. We're reloading, and we are moving you down here. Can't min-max as well. Nickname what you're good at. Yes, but it's not always true. Like, the peddler doesn't really affect prices, does he? He just has events that then have something to do with that sometimes. First, and then shoot with a crossbow. And you cannot use quick hands and carry multiple crossbows, because the second one that you would equip would have to be reloaded afterwards. Until my current run, man, have I missed out. They're dope. I've tried them once very shortly, but I didn't like them too much. Siddharth, however, has tried them too and said they are awesome. So that again comes down to personal preference, I would say. It's Necro 7s. Necromancers, house armies. Right, the house armies. And goodbye, Rifle. Multiple crossbows thing was a joke, really. Yeah, well, but many people have thought about it. I was not aware of... I would not know that if I wouldn't have discussed it with other people before already. Right? But yeah, it's not really a thing, but it's good to think about stuff like that, you know? Just figuring out what works and what doesn't. And he's just gonna run away, and I failed to realize that I need to get somebody into range with him. Now it is too late. We're just gonna kill these, I guess. Or do we still... the pass? Look at you, bro. Enjoy that. Because as soon as he runs, he dies. And they all do. Morale won that fight halfway through, I think. Got 2 nice helmets. A Morningstar that I don't really want. A hand axe is also nice enough. And some amber too, in addition to the silverware we already had. Really nice stuff, and I cleared out another nest here. Yeah. Because all of these, I don't know if new hideouts spawn. I think they might. But as long as they're there, they spawn armies of bandits that terrorize the land. Not all of those have to do with the spawn locations. Some might just be quest related as well, of course. And I'm not sure how wolves don't have hideouts. I think they just spawn. I don't think you can empty the entire map. Right, and then there's late game crisis events as well. We're just headed for Weissenschacht, where we wanted to go a while ago. And hello, brigand hunters. A few thugs and a few poachers. Did we take any damage in that fight? By the way, we got a level up on Rollo. Hello there, Mr. +5.